Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Devil's Dentures. That's right, finally a Halloween treat that's actually scary. I mean, no offense, but sticking little pretzels in a mini peanut butter cup and calling it a spooky spider? I mean, was that really supposed to scare us? The only people that's scaring is dentists and dietitians. So here we go, we're gonna need some apples, and I'm gonna use these Red Delicious. This variety has the color that most closely resembles blood gushing from somebody's neck. And we're gonna take that apple and we're gonna cut it in quarters. Now, if you want to get extra fancy, I guess you could take like a melon baller and sort of scoop out that center core part. But you know what? I didn't. That doesn't bother me. Besides, you think Satan's gonna trim out the core? Hell no. And then we're going to take one of the quarters and we're going to put our paring knife in about, half inch from the edge and go down, but not all the way. Stop about a half inch from the bottom. And then you're going to turn it and you're going to cut straight down the other side exactly the same way. And when those two cuts meet, you'll be able to pull that section right out. And then after we make those cuts, we're going to go ahead and give it a quick dip and a little bit of water that has some lemon juice or vinegar in it, just so these don't get brown too fast. So I'm going to give mine a quick dip. So the base of our Devil's Dentures is done, and it's on to the teeth. And for that, we're going to use slivered almonds, which are just the absolute perfect shape for this. And we're going to go ahead and implant them into our apples. But before we do, we're going to make little holes with the tip of our knife. Just go along the gum line. All right, the closer you get to the outside, the better it looks. But if you go too close, it might crack. So just like that should be fine. And after you make your holes, just go ahead and start pushing in teeth. And the beauty of this, it doesn't matter what size, what shape, if it's pointed, if it's flat, if it looks broken, they all look awesome once they're in. It's the variety in lengths and textures that really gives this its spooky look. So we're going to push those in, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And of course, these holes you're making in between the other teeth to give it that sort of offset look. And by the way, do not worry if your friends call these stupid and make fun of them. They're only doing that to cover up their profound terror, all right? Oh, and by the way, see that little piece of almond skin that's stuck to the edge there? That's known as the plaque of darkness. Which reminds me, kids, you gotta floss. Make sure you're flossing regularly. And once those are done, we're just gonna place those on a serving platter. And if you think one is scary, when you get a whole collection, oh my God. We're talking about the potential for reoccurring nightmares. And now if you want, you could serve these just like that. But I like to do one extra optional step, which is to drizzle it with some slightly thinned out honey. You know, a little devil's drool. Or as the Spanish inquisitors called it, El Drulo del Diablo. It's going to give those teeth and or fangs a nice, wet, glistening look. And I'm not sure how much scarier it's going to make it look, but it will make it a little sweeter. And once we've drizzled that over, our Devil's Dentures are done. Look at that. I haven't seen teeth that terrifying since my last trip to London. Yes, that's how scary these are. Oh, and one last thing, if you use a pretty sharp knife and dip them in that water, these really don't get brown for a long time. This photo was probably taken 45 minutes after these were made, and they still look really good. And then, of course, you're going to want to bite these before they bite you. And in addition to being so frightening, these actually taste pretty good. Apples, almonds, and honey. What's not going to be good about that, okay? So like I said, Halloween treats are usually not that scary, but in this case, I think you'll agree, truly, truly horrifying. So I really do hope you give these a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info, as usual. And as always, enjoy.